You can turn hardship and failure into success, and we're going to learn more about that with Peter Luu today on the Closers platform, a show for closers, with closers, about closers. Peter, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Susan.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So hardship, sacrifice, are those things that you've experienced?
That's everything. I've experienced failure from the beginning in real estate.
From the beginning?
Yep. And so people today are so blessed, they don't understand what real hardship is or appreciate it and what grit it takes to get to where I am today.
Right, where you are today. So this didn't come easy, did it?
No, it did not.
But let's start back when you were born. Where were you born? I asked you this today and honestly was quite surprised by the answer to my question.
So I was actually born in a Malaysian refugee camp.
Wow.
Yeah, so my dad was, he fought for the South Vietnam.
Okay.
After the war ended, he was a prisoner of war for 3 years.
So he knows sacrifice and hardship, yes?
He does.
Yes.
And once he was released, we fled Vietnam to Malaysia, where they found out my mom was pregnant with me. So we couldn't come to the United States because if I was born on U.S. soil, then I would have been an automatic citizen.
Okay.
So they had to wait until I was born. 6 months later, we were able to come to the United States of America.
And you talk about that, Peter, and I don't even know from where I sit, because I'm so naive about that, why it would be a problem for you to be an American citizen. These are things that so many of us don't even have to think about or contemplate.
Correct.
You know, do we go to Lamaze class or not, right?
Right.
But your parents were contemplating what life decisions they make because you needed to be born in the right country, right?
Correct.
Right. So you were born in Malaysia.
Correct.
You were there for 6 months.
Correct.
And
no,
then
I was there for 2 weeks after I was born, so I had to be born first before we were allowed in the United States.
Okay. All right.
So my parents and brothers and sister were there for 6 months until I was born.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, you were there 2 weeks, and then you all came to the United States.
Correct.
Okay, and you came where? Where were you?
We flew into Oakland.
Okay.
And then our sponsor was actually in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So that's where we flew from Oakland to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And where my dad actually had to go to college, work 2 jobs. He didn't even know English, barely knew English.
Right.
So it's to support our family. So I have 3 other siblings, 2 older brothers and an oldest sister.
Okay.
I'm actually the baby.
The baby, okay.
So
that's a new thing I know about you now too, Peter the baby.
Yeah.
So your dad continued to sacrifice here, 2 jobs, college, so that he could provide.
Correct.
Did you see much of Dad?
Not when we grew up, no.
Not when you grew up.
He always either were working or he would take a 3rd shift job so he can make more money and support us.
Right.
And our family.
And then you came to Florida.
Correct.
At 9?
At 9 years old.
9.
Yes.
Okay. And when did you learn about Dad and him being a prisoner of war? Did Dad share that openly with you? Did you talk about it as a family?
No, me and my siblings had no clue until my cousin came over when I was about 18.
Wow.
And he just I just started talking to him about him, and then he told me about my parents. It was such a sad time for them in Vietnam that they don't talk about it anymore.
So your dad and mom suffered in silence and just bore that themselves instead of sharing it.
Correct.
And that's just another sign of the man that he was, right?
Correct.
And we're more open today than your parents were at that time. Not everybody is, but as a rule, we're more open today. So when you discovered that about your dad, how did that make you feel?
It made me try to understand what he did sacrifice for us. Is ironic is I still didn't understand until I became a father.
Right.
The sacrifice my dad did for me and my siblings.
Right, okay, so you still didn't get it.
I know, I still didn't get it then. But I do now that since my first son was born in 2014, that started understanding what he had to sacrifice. Because today, I work a lot.
Right.
It depends on which week it is. It could be 60 to 80 hours.
Right. So it's so interesting because I did a quick video with someone the other day and we were talking about what we do and I said it's not hard, but it's not easy.
Correct.
Right? So it's the activities we have to be, but it's not hard, but it's not easy because of all you have to do and the commitment and the time that you have to put in it.
Correct.
And that's what you'd consider to be one of your sacrifices, right?
Right.
Right. And you learned that from your dad.
Correct.
That's wonderful. And I'm sure you learned a thing or two from your mom, too. We just got to give a shout out to Mom,
Correct. Yes.
right?
Oh, yeah.
That's good. That's good. The support that she gave you, you know.
Just to love on others, no matter what. That's what my mom does. She loves everybody. So just like me and my family, we love everyone.
Okay, good. So while Dad was working hard, Mom was teaching you about love.
Correct.
So
my mom had a job too, so we didn't. like my oldest sister actually raised me. She's the one who gave me my mannerism.
Wow.
She taught me how to say thank you and you're welcome and just to be appreciative of what we have.
Okay.
So she took the mother role while both parents were working, because when we came to the United States, we had nothing. I mean, we grew up through the welfare system.
Right.
There's a block of cheese that, I'm not sure if you know, but there's a block of cheese that they used to give you. So we ate off of that.
So you know what nothing means. And,
Yes.
and as we talked about, you talked when we opened up the show, Peter, about people don't understand blessing.
Correct.
So you had nothing.
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 Nothing. So even now today, one of the first apartments that we had in New Jersey was probably about 400 square feet, one bedroom, you know, and there's 6 of us living in it.
Right.
So that's what we grew up and having. So, yep.
Yeah, so you know what sacrifice is.
Yes.
You know what sacrifice is. So you moved to Florida.
Correct.
And you have one son, you've already mentioned.
2.
And so you have 2 sons,
Yes.
right? So I know you had one in 2014.
Correct.
So that makes them 6.
2014 is my, no, he's 5.
5,
Yes,
okay, 5.
Yep.
And then you have a younger son?
Yep. And he's 3 now.
3 now, okay, so 2 boys.
2 boys.
And you have a job to teach them.
Correct.
Right, that's good. So what did you do, when did your career start? How did you get in real estate?
So do you know what a Groupon is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so my wife came home from work one day and had a 50% off real estate courses from a Groupon.
Wow.
Yes. So it wasn't natural. It wasn't something that I was looking forward to doing. She always knew I had interest in real estate, so
Right.
she saw it, bought it, did that, took the test, or state test, passed it, still didn't sign on anywhere, but I
Right.
just had it.
Good. And how long did you have your license?
Before I actually did it.
Right.
So about a month I had a license,
Okay.
and then did it 3 months part-time. Then once I first set of buyers I took out, I fell in love with the industry. I mean,
Oh, wow.
I honestly fell in love with it.
What about it?
People.
People.
So, and this goes back to where my customer service comes from, is when I used to work at Walgreens.
Right. I love this story.
Okay. So the previous job I had was inside sales. And I
Right.
was successful at that. But the Walgreens is the customer service, the interaction with people. You know, one of the best moments or most memorable moments for me at Walgreens is when we had a customer who just comes and shops there every day.
Every day.
One day she actually was hit by a car outside in the parking lot, and the paramedics came in and said, "Is there a Mr. Luu in here?"
Right.
And I was like, "Yes, I'm Mr. Luu." And all I hear is there's someone else, someone got hit by the car. They don't want to talk to anybody but Mr. Luu. She won't speak to anyone. She won't give us her name. She won't.
And did you know her from outside of Walgreens or just from her being a customer?
Just from her being a customer.
Okay.
Yep. But my thought was it an employee of mine? Because they would walk across the street to go to Subway or get something to eat.
Right, right.
So I run out as fast as I can. I see her laying in the middle of the road, and I'm like, please let them help you. Let them take you to the hospital. You know, she got hit by a car.
Right.
So, but that's where you build a relationship with your customers, and you love everyone no matter what.
Right.
And you treat them the best you can. So she had the confidence in me to say, this is the only guy I know.
Right.
And then this is the only guy that will help me.
In
and I
her
trust.
moment of distress,
Yes.
you were the person she called out for.
Correct.
Good, and that's because of the relationship that you had built. So you did a great job at Walgreens. We've
Correct.
talked about that before. And what propelled you to leave Walgreens?
The hardest thing was I love the job itself. I still would do it. I just didn't like the overnights, the weekends, and the holidays.
Right,
Because the
okay.
retail industry is tough. Right. That's the biggest that was the biggest only downfall. I've
Right,
seen
okay.
that.
So you left Walgreens and you went where?
So I went to an electronics brokerage company in Palm Bay, Florida.
Okay.
And I worked there for 10 years.
10 years.
Yep.
And what did you do there?
So just pretty much buy and sell microchips
Okay.
to other companies.
Okay, so you were in sales?
In sales, yes. It was inside sales.
Inside sales, okay.
Correct. So I was very fortunate and blessed at that company as well. I worked there for 10 years. I was top salesperson for about 7 years.
Okay. And wait a minute, I hear that your record still stands strong.
It does.
Good.
Yeah, I hold every single sales record in that company.
Amazing.
So still to this day, I believe.
Amazing, amazing. So you were a record maker in sales.
Correct.
In Walgreens, you knew that you needed to create relationships.
Correct.
You grew up understanding sacrifice and hard work.
Correct.
And then your lovely wife comes home and brings a Groupon.
Correct.
And you decide to get into real estate.
Correct.
Now, I'm just going to go with, Peter, that all of these things, your journey in life so far up to this point when you start real estate, led you to just an immediate success pattern in real estate. So immediately successful, what I see today is who you were then?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close. I mean, there's first year of real estate, 1099 for 2014 states $5,964.49.
Okay, I'm hoping that you and your wife had some money in the bank from your sales job.
We did. We had a lot. I mean, so got married in 2012, bought a house 2013, and in January 2014 we realized we were having our first child.
Right.
So I decided to quit my career of 10 years, which worked from home, making 6 figures, bonus commission, making a lot of money for 10 years.
Right.
I had a pretty
And
good,
for your age, let's be fair.
Correct.
Right.
It was a pretty good set life. So
Okay.
I figured, and that going from I've been very successful in everything I've done,
Wow, you
that
just...
it's going to come natural in real estate.
Right.
And it did not.
Right.
There was a lot of sacrifice and failures. But
Was that humbling?
No, so I actually have my 1099, actually it's right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's also in my office, a copy of it's in my office where I'm at home, I look at it every single day. Just to remind me of where we failed, or I failed my first year in real estate to where I am today. Stay humble, you know, and especially in this industry, there's always new agents coming into the industry. They're gonna have rough patches, they're gonna fail, or they don't know what they're doing, because I had no clue what I'd do.
Right. So when you, because I'm sure you do, look back at that first year, if I were a first year just starting today, what would you tell me that you did wrong that I should do differently in that first year? And then we'll move forward and talk about now.
I don't know if more of as I didn't do it wrong, or a life lesson that God had to teach me.
Okay.
So where I see it as is when I fail or something happens, you have to see and understand that there's something better on the other side.
Right.
You have to work hard. So for me all the time is to see this 1099 or to understand my first year in real estate where I am today. It can all be taken away from me.
Right. So you feel that first year was a benefit?
Oh yeah, I see every failure as a benefit.
Okay, but you don't look back and see, I didn't work hard enough, why didn't you make more money the first year? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I'm not sure why.
Okay.
I mean, there's no reason. I did what everybody taught you to do. I had great mentors in the industry. I worked for a great team. They taught me everything. I think it's, for me, on a different mindset, is that God had to teach me a lesson to be where I am today.
I love it. I love it. So successful, breaking records to a year where you barely made $5,000.
Correct.
And how many years have you been in real estate now?
So I think 6 now, right? 2014, January. Yes.
It's 6. So the 5 years to follow. Tell me this: have you grown every year with what you've sold every year?
We've actually, since I've been in business, and including the team now that started in 2016, we've been able to double every year.
Wow.
So, but except for 2019, we didn't double, because I guess when you go to
a certain level, you can't keep doubling, right?
But we did beat the previous year, so that's always great.
It's about improvement now, right?
Correct.
It's about building.
Yep.
That's good. So sacrifice, hard work. What's that look like in your family? I'm going to ask you this question. Did you learn, in addition to hard work and sacrifice, that you had to maybe do a little better job, which your dad obviously couldn't because he had a lot of challenges learning language, etc. But did you learn how to navigate more time with your family and your children than your dad was able to because of his circumstances?
Correct. So one of the things that my wife and I talked about is before getting into real estate is I would try to take every Sunday off.
Okay.
You know, that's go to church. That's God's day. And so
to thank him for the lesson that he taught you, right?
Correct.
Right.
So there as well. So now today, every Sunday is I physically don't try not to work unless I have to, but we go to church and then we take our kids to Disney.
To Disney.
3 to 4 hours. It was either Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, one of the parks.
Right.
But it's my time with my children every week.
And what's their favorite park?
Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom.
Lion King.
Lion King, really?
Yes.
Good. So you know the words by heart.
I do. Well, that was one of my favorite movies growing up. So.
Okay, good. So this worked out.
Yes.
So it's their favorite because it's Dad's favorite.
No, I think they just like it too.
Good.
I mean, it's not. I didn't force it on them.
Yeah.
Their first actually movie in the theaters was the new not animated. Lion King.
Lion King. Yes, we did see that. I saw that with my adult boys, just so you know. So it never gets old.
But they still like the cartoon better. So
that's good. Of course they do. So hard work, sacrifice, failures. Any recent failures?
I think you're always going to have failures. Growing a team is not easy.
Right.
So it's still sacrifice. How do you maintain the customer service level for your customers?
Right.
How do you maintain leadership and direct roles to your team to make sure, and how do you balance it all? So since our team was created in March of 2016, it has grown to, there's 7 of us.
Right.
3 admins, 4 agents. So how does Peter balance team agents, customers, and family?
Yes. How does Peter do that?
Very hard. No, but there is going to always be sacrifice, and you got to learn through a lot of grit.
Grit.
You know, grit, because grit. Somebody's always going to lose somewhere.
Right.
Some portion of your life is going to suffer.
Right.
Then sometimes you have to sit back. Did I not see my children this week? Did I not see? I mean, did I work 8 p.m. and they're already in bed when I get home? So some of those things, you know, you sit back and think, man, all right, I got to slow down, refocus on what's most important, you know, God, family, business. So,
do you do a lot of reflection, and what time of day? So for me, at the end of every day, I reflect back on my day, and literally I will go through the list of people that I was engaged with during the day, whether they work for me or not work for me, and I make certain that if there's somebody that I left out that I should have paid attention to, they go on my list for the next day.
I don't make a checklist, but I do reflect at night. So it's after, you know, so on a Monday, I'm able to get home on a decent time, have dinner with the kids, give the boys bath, help put them to bed, go lay in bed with my wife and pray with her. Then she goes to sleep. I go back to work, or I sit back and just watch a little bit of TV. But with me, watching TV is not actually into the show at all.
Right.
It's just something on, distraction. So, you know, because you got to think about everything, all the deals that happened that day.
Right.
All the customers you talk to. Or someone on your team calling you, Peter, this has happened. Something hit the fan. Something didn't hit the fan. I need help on this. So it's always something. I mean, it's never ending.
I'm imagining that when you were able to start after your first year, having some individual success in real estate, I'm imagining that you might have thought, this team thing, I just have to duplicate what I'm doing and it's going to be easy.
Correct.
And it was a little more to navigate than what you anticipated.
It is. It is hard to navigate to the team because there's so many different personalities that you have to deal with and understand. So creating the team, I made mistakes there too.
Right.
And still do every day. And that's the thing. Kind of funny, I like to fail.
Right.
Because it makes me stronger.
Right.
Because once you get out of the failure, you're able to do better.
And our viewers need to pay attention to Peter's nuggets. I like to fail because it makes me better. So you're continuing to learn from your failures.
Correct.
And you see them more as an opportunity.
Correct.
Than.
So with creating the team, in the beginning, I used to micromanage my agents. I hate being micromanaged.
Right.
So most real estate agents probably are in real estate because they don't want to have a boss or micromanaged. So it taught me how to speak to my newer agents that came on the team later on. It teaches me how to speak to my admin staff. You know, there's 3 of them, and it's just like, okay, Peter, because I'm if any of you guys know anything about disc profile test, I'm a DI, which is a high driver and influencer. So I go at 1,000 miles per hour every day, all day.
Right.
We have a rule on the team is if Peter made you upset today, raise your hand.
How many people raise their hand?
Well, on our Thursday morning meetings, everybody.
Okay.
I asked them, did Peter make you upset or frustrate you this week? And everyone raises their hand.
Right.
But the thing is, we are also a family. So it's got to know, if I'm running 1,000 miles per hour, I come to the office, grab a CMA to go to my next appointment. I might make a comment, and if you're not on our team, you hear Peter say something, it might sound really like he's mean.
Tough. Yeah, mean.
But it's really not. It's just I go run so fast all day, every day.
Right.
So that's what I have to do.
And are you learning when to slow down? No?
Yeah. Some. Well, the thing is, once again, if you were on our team, Susan, I made you upset, send me a text. Peter, I didn't appreciate how you addressed this today, or I want to talk to you about something tomorrow. Because the last thing I want is anyone on our team to hold a grudge or be upset at me. Over even one night.
Right, good.
Because that's going to hold resentment. I don't, I'm very open book. And then my team knows this, and I would never do anything intentionally to hurt anybody.
Oh, good.
That's not
who you are.
That's not who you are. Me.
So you're constantly checking and balancing yourself, your day, where your focus is, where your focus was lacking, and adjusting.
Correct.
Which I believe is a really important part. People talk about life-work balance, and I really think it's exactly how you say. There's going to be times when it's off balance, and you have to be aware of that and then adjust.
Yes.
So we've already been on the show a little over 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you two things.
Right.
One, about your branding. Talk to us about your branding, how you've branded yourself, because from an outsider looking in, Peter, you've done a great job.
Thank you very much. So everything in real estate is, don't reinvent the wheel. When I worked for my first real estate company, we had a mega agent. She's amazing, and she is one of the top producers in Orlando today. And I give her a lot of credit for her marketing, and I just follow that.
Right.
What she told us was, put your face on everything. Spend the money on marketing. We spend a certain dollar amount every year. We forecast it to make sure that it's on marketing.
Right.
To grow the team, to be able to actually, it's hard to double every year.
Right.
But we've been able to and been very successful at it.
So you deliberately put your face on everything.
Everything.
And then how about from the shoes to the socks to the suit to the handkerchief?
So
like who taught you that? Was that your sister? Was that your wife? Who taught you that?
Kind of just me.
You?
I like clothes. So
You've got style all on your own? Yeah.
I love shoes, socks, suits, but it is a brand recognition thing.
Right.
So when you're out in Lake Nona, funny story, I went to the doctor the other day, and I go in and see the doctor, and she goes, I feel like I know you. And she goes, I see your face everywhere. And she goes, do you get that a lot? I was like, yeah, I do.
Absolutely. So that was intentional.
It is intentional.
And speaking of visiting the doctor, you've dropped some weight. I must acknowledge that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your health. That's one thing. I'm not in the best health because I run at such fast pace. I try to take care of the business, and it's just one of those things
Now you've added taking care of you into that.
Correct.
Into
you
that
have
mix.
To. Yes.
So if you had 2 or 3 things to give advice to somebody that was coming on your team on how to be successful and maybe be able to learn from your failures, what would those couple of things be?
Just never give up in life. I mean, it's gonna be tough. Everybody started it in the same thing you did. So just grit, work hard at it. Second thing would be customer service. Put the customer first. I meet a lot of agents that come to us and want to talk about the split, the brokerage split, the team split. If you worry about the money, then you're in the wrong business.
Right.
Honestly, it will come if you do the right thing all the time.
Right.
I mean, that's how our team is. It's not about the money. It's about the customer. It's about how we change people's lives, because our customers, either buying or selling their home, they come to us, and this is the most important thing in their life. It's the most valuable thing in their life, majority, 95% of the time. So they're trusting us to make sure we do the right thing for them and are accountable to them.
Right.
So always do the right thing by the customer.
Can't be driven by money.
No, then you will fail.
Right.
It will go away one day. And you have one reputation in this industry. It's even reputation when I say that. So the third thing is the reputation. Right. You have reputation with your community, your customers, but you also have a reputation with other agents. If I was a jerk and people said, Peter, I don't want listen, I don't want to bring a buyer to that.
Right.
That's going to pass it around the industry. One example of that is we had an agent, brand new, probably her first purchase was our listing. I helped get a transaction coordinator for her, told her I was going to help her there to guide her to the closing table. Right. Because I didn't know how to do it when I first started. So that's the thing. You always treat everybody. It doesn't matter how you want to be treated.
Right.
So that's...
So reputation. So hard work, sacrifice, failures, never give up,
Correct.
customer service,
Correct.
reputation,
Correct.
along with an amazing look because you have great suits and great socks and great shoes. That's Peter Luu.
That is Peter
That's
Luu.
Peter Luu. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. And I want to tell the viewers today, I love watching the shows after, and not because I'm on them, but because who I'm on with. And it gives me an opportunity to really look back, listen, and get some nuggets. Lots of nuggets today with Peter Luu. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week on Thursday, live again on the Closers platform.